This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a very warm welcome to the Bar Steward's Enquiry Weekend Podcast. It's great St Wilfrid weekend at Ripon, and we've got the Hungerford Stakes at Newbury. And on this show to go through the racing this weekend is myself, of course, Lee Keys, John Lang. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Lee.
We're all laid on the floor in vest and pants.
We are.
Trying to keep cool. I know everyone thinks we're kidding. And last, certainly not least, on our three-pronged paddock is Neville Ender. Good evening, Neville.
Good evening, and I'm also on the floor.
Yes, absolutely. All vest and pants, fans on in this ridiculous heat. And Neville joins us this week, obviously, to help us with the sticks action at Market Raisin and Perth. The two cards this weekend, and he's also got some info about his runner tomorrow night at Market Raisin, which we'll get onto later in the show. Okay, folks, as it's the usual first part of the show, it's best bets time. I'll kick us off. I'll get us in the mood, which is quite difficult, but I'll try. The 3:35 at Newbury. This is the feature race on the card at Newbury, and it is. The horse in question is trained by my favourite trainer, the shirt, William Haggar's Tiber Flow. Very competitive race this is, but Tiber Flow, I've always felt, requires 7 furlongs. Been campaigned over 6. William himself said earlier in the season this horse probably did want 7, but obviously the targets in question was probably too good to turn down, like the Commonwealth Cup. He couldn't get competitive sort of in that. He just didn't have the pace. That was a very good race, and over 6 it was no good. Over 7 now. I'm really interested in Tiber Flow. I think 4-1 is very good value. And that's where my 1 point selection kicks us off live on ITV. Hopefully, it's the start of a good treble for me this weekend. So Tiber Flow is where I'm kicking off. Neville, I'm coming to you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put up as my third best over the weekend a horse trained by arguably the best permit trainer in the country. Somebody might say different, but I think Diane Sayer is superb. And she saddles Idyllico in the 3:05 race at Perth. This horse has been unlucky. He came 5th in one of those. It wasn't the Sea Pigeon. It was one that we had a runner in. The Cab on Target final at Kelso earlier in the year, and he was unlucky 5th in running. He's been dropped £3 since then. He's also been unlucky subsequently, and I think his mark of 97 in the 2 mile 4 furlong handicap hurdle is, I won't say it's thrown him, but I think it's very fair on his old form. He had a pipe opener on the flat 12 days ago when he didn't run badly at all at Carlisle in one of those all ladies meetings. He had Becky Smith on, and he finished 4th, beaten 3 lengths. And I think he's in a race for a 15 grand race. I don't think it's that strong, in all honesty. It's a 0 to 120, but the top one's 115. So really, it's 0 to 115. I think around double figure prices, I think he looks a reasonable bet. And I'm going to do something that both you two gentlemen do quite often. I'm going to have a wank bet.
An each way wanker bet.
Yes, if that's possible.
I was wondering where you were going with that, Nev. I mean, circle jerk maybe, but anyway.
So I'm going to have a half point each way wank on Idyllico. If I may.
This is quality stuff. You can do that. You can have 1/2 point each way on Idyllico. 4 pegs, 1/5 the odds at 11-1. Lovely jump.
4 pegs. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Absolutely fair. And this is Neville each way. I'm going to tell Quentin Franks is coming to York next week. I'm going to tell him what you've done. It's a misdemeanor there, on the nose here.
I've seen where I am in the table, and I've got to get. I don't want any more losers.
Actually, that was your third best, so it's half a point each way, not a point each way.
Yeah, that's fine enough. Yeah,
so my mistake. But half a point each way. Idyllica, 11-1, 4 pegs. John, what do you make of Neville there?
I'm in shock.
It is. Yeah, he caught me unawares.
Nothing wrong in wanking, is there?
John.
John.
It's degenerating quickly, isn't it?
This is quick even for this show.
Hey, Davis on with this sort of degenerate.
We've lasted a total of 7.5 minutes. Good stuff. John.
Yeah. This won't take long. This is really boring. Time o'clock, the Hungerford.
The Hungerford. Oh, right, really?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Interesting.
For all the reasons stated, really. A bit of a sick coincidence, but there it is. Looks short to be shouted to the 7 furlongs. Has run well at Newbury before. I don't see a lot of downsides over the horse at the price.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's not bad, really, is it? 4-1, and in third fav in, you've got the Mondom edge of the group races chinned it as third fav.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's having its weekly Group 2 outing.
We've got the Mondom edge of the Mondom edges having its weekly run at York next week, haven't we? In the symphony.
Old Anthony, he loves the game. So that's it. So you're going. I'll klaxon it. I'm klaxoning it. We've got a Barstew's klaxon on the weekend before York. We have a klaxon. That's when two or more panelists agree on the same selection. So Tiber Fleur is a Barstew's klaxon in the Hungerford. So enjoy that one at 4-1, folks. Well done, John.
Is it a virtual one? Because I'm waiting to hear it then.
The klaxon. Yeah. We need to get some jingles. I've said this before. We need some, like, in fact, we should get edited in a big klaxon sound.
We need that thing off Bulls there when Bully comes in and goes.
In fact, I'm gonna give you a jingle now. I don't know if I can get it on my phone. Can you send me a text?
Can I send you a text?
And you'll hear it.
Get ready. So I'm sending you a text live on air. Well, not live when you listen to this, but here we go. Send Neville text. Here we go. There we go. John to Neville.
I've got very little signal.
Oh, it's not working. I'm on Wi-Fi, and you're not on.
Oh well, I'll try and find it on my phone. Anyway, I've got one of my horses, and he's winning for his feed, and it's a really good one actually. And you could sort of stick it in between.
I think it's gone.
Oh, hang on. I'll move my phone to a place where it normally picks them up. No. No.
We're shit.
Sounds like you're putting a partner on there, Nev.
It's a bit of Ron Jeremy, isn't it, really?
Can you see my screen?
It's Ron Jeremy. Right, Nev, I'm swinging it round to you then, as we're swinging away. 2-pointer. Where's your 2-pointer?
Right, 2-pointer. I know that you're going to fancy this one, Lee, because I remember you tipping it about a month ago, and it's the 4:15 race at Perth, a horse that was trained by Sir Michael Stout on the flat, and has been a bit of an underachiever over hurdles so far. Galata Bridge, and it's been sent all the way up from. Is it Worcestershire trained somewhere around there? Dr. Richard Newland, who now sports a hair transplant. I don't know if you've actually seen that.
Has he got a syrup?
No, it's proper. It's not a syrup.
Dr.
Anyway,
Syrup.
You got Jimmy White.
Not quite as thick as Jimmy White. Anyway, Sam Twiston Davis goes up to ride as well. It's the horse is rated 120, which is. I suppose really he's been crucified by the handicap. He won a small race at Huntingdon off 108, put up to 120, but I thought he ran really well in that valuable 24 grand race at Market Raisin last month. Pisgah Pike won it. It was very competitive, and he got slightly impeded. I won't say he would have won, but he probably would have been a place nearer. But he showed a good attitude, and I've just been looking through his form, and it might well be that he's a better horse on a flat track as opposed to an undulating track. And Perth, as we know, is completely level. He might be able to use his speed, and I think there are question marks against several of these, particularly Lady Reset, who I do like, but I'm not convinced that she's up to winning off 112, even though she's consistent. Adam West's horse at the bottom is up considerably in the handicap since he has rattled off a hat-trick, and he's also out the weights. Laura Morgan's horse, Socialist Agenda, is, although technically he's not a novice, he is in all but name. Bridska ran a moody race last time when winning, seemed to be in stone cold trouble, and then came through and won, and Wolf Prince will set the pace. I think Galata Bridge, it could be his day tomorrow, so I'm going to go with him as my second best, and that's a straight on the nose bet.
Good stuff. 100 to 30, Burlington Bertie, 2 points. 2 points for Neville Ender on Galata Bridge. Yes, you're right, Nev. I did fancy him very strongly for the Market Raisin race. You could have a point there about flat tracks. Huntingdon was nice and flat, and I could see Galata Bridge.
He very lightly raced as well over hurdles. He's only run 6 times over hurdles, so you would hope that there'd be a little bit more improvement in him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, John, you know Galata Bridge well from the flat, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, you fairly lightly raced on the flat. I thought that she had a pathetic.
There you go. There you go. That's your jingle. Stick that in.
Stick that up, you, John. Stick it right up. Nev's got your measure tonight.
What the hell are you twisting on that half there now? When that nice?
That should be our bar stewards Clacton, really, shouldn't it? Yeah. So Galata Bridge, John.
Yeah, I thought they showed quite a lack of ambition with the horse on the flat, to be honest. I mean, he was poking around on the all-weather, ended up with a rating of 90 anyway. I was quite surprised when I saw it, actually. I thought it looked just the type of the old man who'd have enjoyed training as a 4-year-old, but they bolted on and got rid, didn't they?
Any idea what they've sold him for? I've already made a few quid.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, was he, there? About 70?
I'm going to have a look. It would have been Tattersalls, aren't it?
Yeah, I think it
was about 75,000 guineas.
75.
Yeah, five pence on the pound on that price. So around about £80,000.
In all honesty, that wouldn't have been over expensive for a 3-year-old, would it?
No, I mean it's expensive if you look at the mark that Galata Bridge.
At the time, though, if that was Tattersalls or Autumn horses in training, you'd expect a horse of that to have made double, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Maybe it's got a problem.
Maybe there is issues in there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I bet him at Market Raisin on the premise of Huntingdon, and I was left a little bit flat. I expected him to do it, but Nev, you might have a point there about the track, and Perth, with it being nice and flat, might just, he's got plenty of time in the straight there. And
he's got problems going on an undulating track, and Market Raisin is up and down. It's whereas it's easier if they've got problems to run on a flat track, isn't it? So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I don't believe we've seen the best of him yet.
No,
that £12 hike though is a bit of a bummer.
No, I think you've got a good selection there, really good selection. So good stuff from Nev. In fact, we're going to make a bar stewards change. It's gone 7-2, and so we need So it's a price boost on bar stewards to 7-2. We're better than
BOG.
Yes, Bog. 7-2 for Nev for Galata Bridge. 2 points on the nose. John, your second best.
I'm off to Ripon for my second best, and this one's in the 325. Garden Oasis returns to the scene of one of his better efforts this season. The track suits him enormously. His last visit showed he's more than capable of this sort of mark. He was headed a furlong up, but he kept on nicely. He was still only beaten less than a length. Couldn't get involved last time in a big field at Thirsk. It was an absolute write-off for him. But this smaller field and the chance of possibly a soft play once he gets in front and bags the rail, the sort of player to his strengths. So I think he's worth a wager tomorrow. 2 points win.
Yeah, and of course he does like and enjoy. I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed he didn't get the job done last time at Ripon.
Yeah.
But as I've said, these horses, when they're coming back, you don't. I mean, Tim might have had him on pigeon feed for the first part of the year, getting his mark down, and like you said, they just seem to come alive. These horses, like Temper Trap recently for Tim, they just seem to just take fire when and like you say, everything's in his favour, John. So
I don't think there's been any discernible pattern to Tim's runners this year.
Yeah, I think you're so heavily invested in Thick Dave. You absolutely love Thick Dave, don't you? As a jockey?
I know.
I mean, another thing. Why don't we have the Cock of the North like we used to? Remember, like we had Mark Birch, the Cock of the North, Kevin Darley, the Cock of the North. Why don't we have the Cock of the North anymore?
He only won it because all the others were betting his horses and stopping theirs, weren't they?
Do they not have the Cock of the North anymore? I don't know.
I don't hear him. I never
hear it. Do you?
Never hear it.
No.
I mean, we used to be a great. They should revive that. They should actually get that going again, because that'd be fantastic. I thought
it was part of Eddie Hyde's name. You never heard him mentioned without the word Cock of the North popping up.
I heard that. I don't know how true this is, but a jockey came to school with us yesterday, and he said by 9 o'clock yesterday morning, Tim Easterby had 90 horses ridden.
Really?
And I don't know how true that is, but that seems a hell of a lot. He must have so many horses.
Yeah.
9 o'clock, 90 horses. It doesn't seem possible, does it?
He'll have 200 in Tim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So John's 2-pointer Garden Oasis there at Ripon, and hopefully can go better. Only needs to do slightly better than it did last time on its last reappearance.
I'll settle for considerably better. You win 5 lengths.
Yeah, you want to win 5 on the Billy Idol, don't you? To roar it home in the straight. Like we all do.
Want the race over a furlong out. Thick Dave around for dangers and non-existent.
I do think, John, that's probably from a plum draw as well. That's the only one I could bet in the race pre-play. So I think
that was kind of where I landed, really.
Yeah. So I think you're on the right track there. I'm hoping my second best bet gets the approval of a certain Neville-ender, because this is a rare jumps bet for me.
Oh. It's not Market Racing, is it?
On the show. No, it's at Perth. Oh. And I'm all over, because this is like old school. This is like where you do the little class angles and I'm all over Statuario of Peter Bowens in the 2:35 race. The reason being, the favourite of Big Fat Gordon's Quantum Realm has beaten very little really to achieve that 126 rating, and I find it strange that he finds himself giving £5 to a horse that has been contesting some really good competitive handicap chases against good horses. Third in that Market Race and summer plate handicap chase. That I always like to follow big sort of summer racing handicaps, and because I think these are the epitome of the best form of the summer. So I just think Statuario. James Bowen himself, Sean Bowen rides for Gordon. So some people might say, well, Sean Bowen was on Statuario last time. Is that a tip in itself that he's riding for Gordon? I don't know jockey arrangements. Maybe Sean Bowen's got something going with Gordon, maybe longer term. So that's why James is riding Statuario. Who knows? But I don't think Statuario can be 5-2. I don't think it should be second favourite. I think it ran really well at Market Race, and it caught my eye really. It made mistakes at crucial points, and that's where I think if it doesn't make those sort of same mistakes as it did last time in the big summer plate, it's going to take the world of beating at 5-2. So 2 points for me on Statuario.
I think that the reason why James Bowen was I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. He's ridden, Sean Bowen's on Gordon Elliott's, isn't he? But James Bowen had to jump off Statuario last time to ride Frankie de Belay.
He did.
Which he won. Didn't he win the same race 12 months ago?
Yes.
And that's why he jumped ship then.
So yeah.
So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. The only thing is, he doesn't win very often, does he, Statuario?
That's the issue in a way, that Statuario sometimes finds ways to get beat, but
yeah.
From an experience point of view, like Quantum Realm is winning sort of, beating horses really that he should be beating. The form's nothing really of the Downpatrick win. It beat one of Neil Mulholland's that started life off 93 and is now rated 121. So it beat that on the running last time and was all out to do so. I think as long as Statuario puts his head down, it's his to lose. So that's my second best there. 18
grand race as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely prize, wasn't it? I mean, fantastic on Perth. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
9 to the winner, 4,100 for the second, 2,000 for third.
It's a very long way to go, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm surprised Sadiq hasn't got one in here with his. He's thinking how to pick up. He's thinking if we can nick fourth, it's a worthwhile trip.
Yeah, what was that horse rated? 44 of his.
Yeah, he's had loads. I don't know, but there's been some hilarious ones. There was one the other week we commented on. He pulled it up at Worcester. There was like a 4 in a race. I think it was something like he got £1,000 for finishing, and the jockey pulled it up 4 out. What an idiot.
Well, he's actually a very nice person, is Atax Sadiq. I bought a horse off him a while back, and he is a real gentleman. I'm not for a moment saying he's a legend of a trainer, but he's a real nice bloke, and I'm not sure how what his stuff for if he gallops them or that often. I think they just get fit on the race course, and we
should call him 9:50 Sadiq, because at 9:50 a.m. Sadiq's looking at the decks
9:59
on the novice chasers, 9:50 or 9:59. Nev, we should call on 9:59. Yeah. Anyway.
Didn't he have that? Have they had his son's race? Yeah, they had it in the Cartmel, the last Cartmel meeting.
Yeah.
He's a very nice man, though. Very nice.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a shrewd is Sadiq. Pinching that novice handicap and novice chase.
He's bought and sold about 5 care homes, I think, in his time, and made huge profits on them, and ploughed it all straight back into horses.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so he's done it in on the horses then.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I would say it's a recurring theme.
I bought one last week.
Oh no, not another one.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later, anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Anyway, so we'll come on to the best bets, if that's right. Have we done all the 2-pointers? Yeah, we've done the 2-pointers, right. So the 3-pointers, the gin's kicking in. So the 3-pointers now, these are our best bets, listeners, as you know, and this is painstaking work. So who am I going to come to? John Lang, I'm coming to you.
Right, this one's in the 440 at the Curragh, and with some little relief, actually, that I'm not having to tip something else in this race that hasn't been declared, thankfully. This is Search for a Song. I think this looks a match on the figures, and the main opposition probably doesn't look as good as some of those she's faced this year. The thing that really sways me towards her, though, is how the race might be run. I can see the Baby Joseph horse being held up out the back well. This one tends to be ridden reasonably handy, and I think that ought to tip the balance in her favour. 3 points win.
Yeah, I mean, she's not 100%. She's not been at her best this year, without a doubt. I did feel last year that she could be one for this year to kick on and be be like a super mare, if you like, but she's just not quite been at her top class best. But I agree with you, John. Here, this is not a particularly strong race. Do you agree?
Yeah, as I say, I'm quite relieved that other people didn't take the option of running here.
License heads for the Ebor, hopefully.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think the way this will pan out, I think it favours her. I don't necessarily think that the Baby Joseph horse is quite worth his rating either. I think maybe I wouldn't vote £3 or £4 less than that at the minute.
Yeah.
But I think she's fairly solid tomorrow.
Good stuff. Half arm, 6-4 for John for his 3-pointer. We're going a bit blogger this week, but forgive us because the fields are quite small, so it's rather difficult to find hidden gems.
Back up for it on Tuesday night.
We will. Tuesday night is, of course, the York preview, so tune in for that. Myself, John.
Thursday nights are great now, though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, is it going to be the East? Is it going to be the South? Is it going to be the Irish?
Yeah, everyone's tuning in for that. So much so that John lies on his psychiatrist's couch and he's listening.
I'm watching Emmerdale while that's on.
It's
John
the biggest load of bollocks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
John would rather watch Fraser Hines come back and on Emmerdale Farm.
This gimmick. How the BHA can sanction having this shit on a Thursday and think people are interested. It's just beyond me.
Well, the attendances as well.
Because Blakey's Lecky bill's gone up so much, he needs the extra longer.
Okay.
Do people give a shit, honestly?
No. I mean, he's not. Racing's not. They've tried the Shergar Cup for years. It gets different kind of racegoers going, but it's not people that are invested in the sport, which is, I mean, and we've said this before on sermons where the BHA don't believe in the product, so people are forever coming in trying to change the product when the original product's fine. It just needs looking after and nurturing, as do the clientele that actually frequent the racecourse venues need looking after. But they seem to be wanting to take a different Lewis Hamilton stroke, different direction for the sport, and it doesn't work with the regulars anyway. The regulars aren't interested.
It doesn't work with 99%, does it?
No.
What's the point of having managers? Mickey Quinn being manager of one of the teams, and Jamie Osborne manager of another one, and Matt Chapman being manager of another one. What is the point of it?
Well, Mickey Quinn, let's be right. I mean, as John's pointed out on Twitter, what right has Mickey Quinn, John, to run a team? I mean,
he's got farms and and this is supposed to attract new people to the game. So new people come in and say, "Oh, that's an interesting fella, that portly gentleman who's in charge of the John team or whatever the hell it is. Let's look him up on Google and see what he's done in racing."
Well, I've said this before that if it was a success, right, and it was doing really well, and you were getting good crowds and good followings of this particular format, then the Guardian would pick up on it straight away because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Would send a journalist and just note Mick Quinn's case and say Racing League manager is, and it'd be a disaster for racing. If racing suddenly got on this big up curve in terms of, the Racing League's taking off, the big crowds and everyone's behind it, Guardian would just do one newspaper report, Mick Quinn done for animal cruelty, and that's it. And that's the bubble. So who on earth thought of him as a team manager? just mental.
Yeah, that could be just how hard they've tried to find people as well. I mean, he's a lazy selection, isn't he?
He is. I think it was scraping the barrel. I think that
lack of imagination, Sean.
Yeah.
The
anyway,
disappointment I have in some of the people that's actually agreed to be managers.
But what is the point of it? Do they need a manager?
No.
No.
It's just an excuse to chuck advertising money.
Yeah.
Well, they used to call it greasing a fat pig's ass, didn't it? Where you're throwing money at the already overcompensated, shall we say, for their talent.
Anyway, we seem to have sidetracked a little bit.
We do. But there's only three of us, so we've plenty of time. Yeah. My 3-pointer goes in the Prix-Jacques Le Malois on Sunday. And I'm absolutely... The prices are wrong. Odds compilers are idiots, as we know. Amazing prices. In Spiral, the filly, available 11-4 with treble 8 sport, 5-2 Boyles, Bet365. Anything around that, 11-4, 5-2, you've got yourselves a very good bet. She is rated 121. Caribus is rated 121. She gets £4 because the French give the fillies an extra £1. Generous French. And so that makes her £4 well in with Caribus. Why is she second favourite? Why is Caribus 7-4? On the St James's Palace run, where Caribus should have been fourth. Caribus was the luckiest winner of the St James's Palace you'll ever see. Maljoom should have beat it. Mal Ulysses should have beat it with a better trip. You might say, well, Caribus... But in Spiral as well, the last run in the Falmouth you can scrap because Prosperous Voyage had the softest fractions on the front end you could ever imagine. Frankie's an idiot these days. He sat 3 lengths off Prosperous Voyage, off those sort of fractions, obviously getting a settled, like they all do, just settle them, And now the race was done in the Falmouth, on that gas hole. But now it's Deauville. There's a few front runners in here. The Jap horse goes forward. Bathrat Leon. Order Australia will go forward. State of Rest is bound to go forward, dropping from 10 to 8. So there's going to be plenty of pace. The draw favours high draws, on the last meeting anyway, because they all crossed over from the stand side towards the middle to far. So she doesn't have to move. Vittoria doesn't have to do anything. He just has to sit there, take a lead, and I think she'll win. I think she'll win well. I don't think Caribus is also. We think he is. I don't think the Guineas form is what we think it is, and I think the in Spiral, the St James's Palace, the Coronation Stakes win was so impressive that was the standout 3-year-old performance for me of this season, barring Desert Crown, which of course he's not got a chance to reproduce that this season. So in Spiral will lead the way for the 3-year-old fillies, and I think she will bolt up 11-4, 5-2. Take it. She should be favourite. The bookies have got it wrong, and that's where my best bet is.
I think had she not disappointed last time, she would have been favourite today.
Exactly. She would have been. Well, off air, I said to John, I said she should have been 5-4. If she'd have won the Falmouth nicely, like she should have done, she would have been 5-4.
It's still a nagging doubt, though, isn't it? It's still there.
It is. But then I also said to John, she ran a bit flat in the Falmouth, and that's like, for me, that's acceptable after Royal Ascot, because I always think Ascot they do. It's fast ground. It's very fast ground. It can take a lot out of them, and I think she's nicely rested now. She's coming here, I'd say relative fresher, if you like, than Ascot, because that slowly run race at Newmarket, it wouldn't have batted an eyelid. It was ridiculous. I mean, Prosperous Voyage, I think 8-1 and 10-1 quoted by the bookmakers. That's not going to win. There's just absolutely no chance. It should be 30 double car.
Yeah, well, she's hammered that twice, didn't she?
Yeah.
Prior to Newmarket.
That's not
I
something.
agree. I think she is a value price. I think there is a question mark over Carobus's form. I mean, beating LaSalle is not absolute top-notch form, is it? And he had to work to do that. And William Buke rode a brilliant race that day, and he won the race for them. There were, you got Mighty Ulysses, who's a very good horse, but you wouldn't be putting him as an absolute Grade 1 horse, and he was only about a length and a bit behind one. So I agree with you. I think but I think that the Inspiral of Royal Ascot, there wouldn't be another filly, another 3-year-old filly probably in the world that could stick with her.
No, absolutely, and it's the wrong price. State of Rest has to be respected, but not back at a mile. I don't think State of Rest has the pace or the turn of foot to win over a mile. Even if the argument is that the older brigade are better, that's where I'm at for the field goal.
She might bounce, might she? I mean, I don't. Obviously, everybody talks about bounce and everything, but she put up such a phenomenal performance at Royal Ascot that after the problems that she had throughout the winter, it must have taken its toll. You can't run a fantastic race, even if you win easily. It does take it out of them. There's no question about it. So I wonder if that she was just the race just came too soon.
Yeah, I mean, John, I think we were on a pod, and John said the same thing after, and said he thought she might have just bounced a bit as well as the slow pace.
Put the ass for not considering the bounce before the race. Yeah.
I mean, if we owned her, we might have just left the Falmouth and maybe come here or look for alternative targets. Just give her a bit more time.
I'd charge for him to sell in and lay.
Yeah, we would. In our position, we'd have sold.
Should have gone after a second start of the 2-year-old.
Absolutely. Right, Nev, you're finishing the round with your field goal. This is it.
I'm really happy with my 3-pointer as well. We're staying at Perth, and it's a 0 to 100 handicap hurdle over 3 miles, so it's for pretty slow, moderate horses. But the youthful flat racer, the Rutland Rebel, finally got his act together over hurdles last time out. They took him up to Perth, and he needs ground. The slowest it has to be is good. Anything quicker than good is ideal for him. They took him over 2.5 miles, and it was only when stamina kicked in, relative stamina at Perth, the last 100 yards that Emma Smith-Chaston was able to force his head in front, and he only won by a short head, but that's no great problem. He's only been put up £5. He was a good stayer on the flat. One day at Pontefract, he got beat a length by a fair stayer of Ruth Jefferson's called Flint Hill. That was off a rating of 70. When you consider he's running off 89 over hurdles over a trip that will definitely bring his ability into play. He's a better horse over a longer trip, and off 89, I think he's got his jumping together. I spoke to his trainer I think it was Christmas last year about him, because I said I thought he was the best handicapped hurdler in the country, and Mickey said that he needs the good ground to get him to jump, and we saw that he jumped well last time on some decent ground. And I'd be very surprised if he couldn't win this off 89. So he's my banker of the weekend. But you do hope that when you've got a big field and there are 13 of them and you're on a hold-up horse, you do have to have a little bit of luck in running. But I'm gonna make him my banker of the weekend. The Rutland Rebel, 450 at Perth.
No, good stuff. 7-2. I mean, Mickey this summer, I mean, he's on fire. What is he? 26%, I believe.
Yeah, it's been running
in recent times. Is that since Corley retired?
Well, I think that strike rate is since Alan Corley retired, but that doesn't mean that it was. Alan Corley was a good jockey. I thought he was a very good jockey. And he's a good agent now. He is.
He's got some good clientele, old Alan Corley. He's
Paddy Brennan.
Yeah. He's got them all. Yeah, let's hope we get some info. Anyway, but anyway, Rutland Rebel, absolutely good choice. 7-2 for Neb's 3-pointer.
I could see him sprinting past some of these out-and-out plodders, can't you?
Yeah, it's a bad race. I mean, they've put obviously Lakeshore Drive is 5-2 tissue favourite, 10-year-old. It's not a good race. This. Yeah,
beating Barney Stinson is pretty moderate form. That was a 0 to 100, but it won. Yeah, I think it should be favourite, should Mickey's horse.
Indeed. So that's the rounds completed. Our best bets. Which do you like? Which do you like of Nev's, John's, myself? You know what's gonna in your lucky 15s, etc.
What floats your boat?
Yeah, what floats your boat? Indeed. Maybe lying on the floor in vest and pants in this weather does. Maybe Nev's horse turn does. I don't know. We're gonna move on. We've got some TV action to discuss. Before York, the main meeting, of course. We're going to start off at Ripon, and we're better than the Hornblower. You love a Hornblower, John.
It was one of my least favourite conditions races of the year, I would imagine. I thought the top one would probably take a bit of beating.
Oh, the one that won air. The what? The top one. What? Not. Which one?
Pointing to an outsider.
On your dreams, Fort Florida Filly, Prince of Pillow, New Definition, or When Moon? Do you mean the favourite, or?
No, I meant on your dreams.
Honestly?
Yeah, I think.
A pony?
Yeah, I think they might just get away with this. I see a bit of progression in this house, believe it or not, and I say it was a sporting bet against some of these because.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think some of these are all that, to be honest. And I think this you make excuses for this on occasion.
Paddock judge Adam Norman on my note says size fine, quite tall, strong on toes, tall, quite strong, well made.
Yeah,
he likes the horse paddock wise.
Yeah, I've noted that a couple of times myself, and as I said, I think there's been excuses. He didn't like the soft ground last time at Haydock. Ponty, I don't think suited with the bend. It was a win, but I thought there was more to come. I don't think we've seen everything this one's got, to be honest.
Brave shout into it's a good shout of Adrian Keatley's to put Ryan Sexton up, who can't claim, but it's good for the lad, isn't it?
Yeah, he's had them up for him. I think he rates him,
Yeah, I think it would be one of the best £5 claimers, wouldn't he, on the flat?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that if a fancy runner wins, might settle for Prince of Pillow. Dropping from 6 to 5. I think When Moon will go on, New Definition will go on, Florida Filly will go on. I think it could be a bit of a burn up and just set up for that one's that won't be leading up, dropping back in trip. So that was where I sort of sat with the fifth horse. I think won at Goodwood in that air race in a nursery off 74, but. It's not a vintage Hornblower by any means.
Very childish.
Are you saying the trophy for this? What's the trophy like for this?
Well, that's it. We should.
Is in the shape of a Hornblower?
Well,
yeah, somebody blowing the horn, no?
Yeah, it could be somebody like a Swiss yodeler,
They might have somebody there blowing on his own horn.
You will be his own, won't it? Because you're not going to blow somebody else's, are you?
Well, I've got one or two young ladies in my time that are perfectly happy to.
What? They actually can blow the horn?
No, they have to blow the papers.
Right. We'll move on. The 250 at Ripon is the Great St Wilfrid handicap, and I had a question from a listener this morning. He's quite correct. He wanted me to try and find out what they've been doing with the draw at Ripon, because he is correct. Now, if this had have been a traditional Great St Wilfrid and nothing different, I'd have said it has to be low draws. Traditionally on this ground, low would be best. I would say looking at the configuration. However, the last two meets have been, I think, quite heavily biased towards the stand side. So it could be natural. We don't know what goes off with the watering. We don't know what part of the track drags more water underneath. But it does look. I wouldn't put it this way. I wouldn't want to be in the middle. I think either rail is going to. I mean, it might be obvious, but I think literally you do need
the middle, are they?
Well, I know, but looking at the last meeting, if you it's quite kind of weird. It booked the trends of recent meetings at Ripon, sort of like spring onwards, where the stands rail was no good. Literally, if you came down the stands rail, you didn't win. It was they came down the middle all the time.
So maybe there's like no pace below 6.
Yeah.
I think the bottom five are all looking at either just off the pace or well held up. I mean, my thoughts on the really low draws were possible place layers of Black Rod and Summergand.
Okay, no, interesting view. Interesting to get that take.
I'm trying to find where the consolation race is.
No, it's gone because they couldn't fill this one.
What, you mean the BHA are putting on such bad prize money that the owners are dropping out the game and there's not enough horses to go around? Is that what you're saying?
We'll get onto prize money in a bit, but yeah, pretty much. They couldn't even fill the Greats at Wilfrid. 15 runners.
They should have shits in Wilfrid this year, shouldn't they?
Anyway, my fans in the race was Alcimo, at the mare. She's in fantastic nick, and they sidestepped Goodwood because I looked at her entries, and she was entered at Goodwood, and I'm thinking, right, I'm interested in this mare at Goodwood, and they obviously felt that this was the race for her, and I think that's like quite an interesting tip in itself. But yeah, that was Alcimo. She's in great heart, and that's where I'd be, I think, if I had to have a stab at the race. Any thoughts, chaps?
I would not even look at it twice.
John?
I thought Emperor's Spirit would be very dangerous in the 13 box with an uncontested crack at the front.
Yeah.
With a wily old PJ riding.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got a chance. He's an handful, but yeah, 100%. He'd be on the list, as would be a few others of your fans, I've no doubt, listeners. But I'd be a bit worried with Ripon with a draw, and the reason I'm going to come on to the draw now in a sort of a rant is because if you get in running picks, the drone picks, you can actually see on certain tracks that Clarks aren't watering certain parts of section of the track. Windsor particularly is pretty bad. The outside line at Windsor is awful. It is brown. So this is interesting for later in the season in that you're going to get some strange results, I would think, towards autumn time when the water table tops up again and the rain starts falling. That's obviously when they don't water, but obviously because they're neglecting a certain part of the track, that should mean that track will be much, much faster than the track that they have been. So as we've seen with Pontefract, etc., all summer, you can't get away with it. You have to water the whole track. But obviously with the water shortages, so watch out for that this summer. Do your research, and it should pay dividends towards the final quarter on the flat, which John says, like you say, John, get all weather in on the turf and spray it green also, and then the job's done. And then the track biases are much less, except when the inside ride's slow, etc. Always a problem on the flat. Right, we'll move on to Newbury. The 120 is a 15 grand handicap, a nothing affair. I've got no opinion myself. John, Neville?
No, same as you. I'm going for the same one as you've gone for.
Yeah,
no opinion.
None of the above.
Yeah.
I did have an opinion, just that it was a really shit race and I didn't want to get involved in it.
That sums it up nicely. 155 is the Denford listed race. Victory Dance, I think, is potentially one of the top 2-year-olds of this season. I've made no secret about that on the debut when he did very well to win a slowly run affair, despite him being, quite heavy topped, quite doesn't pick up instantly, but did ever so well and showed a good attitude. Then at Newmarket last time, I felt he was desperate again to get headed. I think he's an absolute class act, and I wouldn't put anyone off. Even 8-13, I think he absolutely bolts up in that race at Newbury, and that's where I'm at with that. Any thoughts, chaps?
Yeah, he was a little bit unlucky wanting not to. It could have gone either way, that steward inquiry.
Yes.
Brian Meehan seems to rate the winner, like one of the best he's had through his hands.
It was very well backed on debut, the Brian Meehan horse as well.
Yeah.
So it's all solid. That's what I would call a solid fav. John?
Yeah, I couldn't put anybody off the blogger bet there.
Bloggers block the bar stewards. What a disgrace. Tell him, chaps. Tell him what a disgrace he is for blocking the bar stewards.
He doesn't like us, does he?
No, he don't like us. I don't blame him.
People don't like us. We're like Millwall, aren't we?
That's it. And no, we don't care. 2:30 is the Geoffrey Freer. Zechariah heads the betting at 7-4. Any thoughts on this, chaps?
One of the worst Geoffrey Freers ever runs as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, five runners. Again, where's Mr. Sadiq for his £1,883?
I thought this might be as soppy as Outbox would ever get it on the front end. I literally cannot see anybody taking on Outbox. And if Mrs. Marquand manages to get the horse nicely settled and maybe Nick Treyer for all them early on, it could take a bit of passing.
Could be in business, yeah, like you say, yeah.
It's the type of horse I think I'd want to see him go so long and see whether Mrs. Marquand's got everything under control or whether she's hitting the panic button there.
Yeah, no, fair play. Neville?
Only thing I could say is it is a very poor renewal. But yes. Apart from that, I wouldn't be getting involved. I think there were just too many question marks against them, and you wouldn't be surprised whatever won, really, would you?
No, I agree with that. 3 o'clock Newbury, then we move on to the 7 furlong. Again, poorly priced. 25,000 added. Not good for, these are very poor. This is poor for this sort of standard.
Yeah, we're talking about a Grade 1 track, Newbury.
Yeah.
They're putting up good prize money. And look at the field, 7 runners.
Yeah,
is it all down to the ground?
No, I don't think so. I genuinely think there's a lack of runners in terms of people are selling abroad, etc. And it's a long going thing, and the flat season's going to suffer for a while until this is addressed. But I don't think it will get addressed. I think we're on a big downturn.
Well, maybe the racing league needs to come back maybe twice a week. Do you think?
I think so. Yeah. To see if you can
have midweek matches.
I think if you just give Blakey more money, and he'll sort it out.
Blakey. What, the Kevin Blake, or the Blakey on the buses?
No, he's dead, isn't he?
No, they're not both dead, though, are they?
No, Kevin Blake's still alive.
No, from on the buses.
They're all dead. They're all dead. Blakey, the conductor.
Really? I thought they did conduct. I was the driver of the bus. I thought I saw a picture of him yesterday, but it might have been before he died.
Well, they tend to take them before they die.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Bus crash, of course.
Yeah, 3 o'clock then. Dan's. It's a shit. I'm passing on this.
Yeah, it's shit. It's
Dan's Fever 4-1. She's shit. He's shit. Whatever. At 3:35, we've already covered Tiber Floyd's the Klaxon horse in the Hungerford. Nev, any?
You think Chindit's going to have to put up a career best, isn't he? I think he's got that penalty makes life very difficult for him. Well, in fact, is it a double penalty he's got?
Well, Chindit's.
That's a real tough ask. That if he can win that, he must be pushing Group 1 into genuine Group 1.
He's not. I mean, look at what they're doing to him. They've had enough. The owners have said, "Well, this is shit." And 14th of May. They ran against Baid in the Lockinge, and since then it's had 4 starts. This will be its 5th start then since the Lockinge. This is Anthony Britton stuff from Richard Annan, the Cannon. And I'm sorry, but if this was the real deal, you'd be wrapping this in cotton wool and saying, we'll save you for an autumn campaign and give you a bit of a rest. But no, it's back out. They've wheeled it back out straight
it's
after.
It's a tough ask, isn't it, that off 9/11. I think you've covered it really with Tiber Flow, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pogo's you can say Chindit and Pogo knocking the shit out of each other right from the start anyway.
If they do that, Pogo will win because he's as tough as nails, isn't he?
Yeah. Pogo is a good horse. I mean, and if it suits the front end, like it has done today, but it was slightly wind assisted from behind, that Pogo will be interesting. 210 Newmarket will go over to the Slopdop track where he's put on about 600 millimetres this week, hoping for good to soft. 210 JenningsBet Fillies Handicap, 11 to 10 favourite Atlantis for Slim, and the Luigi, the Sardinian. Any thoughts?
This is absolutely live, isn't it?
This is a 0 to 105. The top rated is 89. This shows you how desperate racing is in this country at the moment.
It is. £50,000. Where's Sadiq?
Yeah. Could have put one of his geldings in this Fillies race.
Well, fifth is £1,510. There might be one breakdown on his slop. On Prosser's slop.
The sooner they build social housing on this shit, all the better.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The July course is dead. Dead to me as well. It's done. Horrible place. I mean, they knocked the top off. It's up and down Dale. Like, who wants to run nice horses when you have to go up and down Dale on absolute summer slop? Knocking the top off. You wouldn't run a nice horse on this, would you? No. No. So we go on to the Grey Horse Handicap. Look, again, they've cut the prize money on this. They're absolute disgraces.
They cut it to nil because it's a fucking boring thing to do.
That's the 318 race. Mr. Bluebird.
7 runners. There used to be 18 in this type of race.
Yeah.
You can't get your hands on a good grey these days.
Jeff Harker's got a fancied one in Wentworth Falls. 10-year-old John.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it, really? I mean, it's a mad old up horse, isn't it? And he sends it there to contest this with no pace on.
No.
Probably going to win now, said that, but it's terrible. I think friend of the show, Stuart Williams, might finally get a payday with Lord Rapscallion, to be honest.
Well, we'll finish the show with this, by the way. I'm hoping Stuart Williams is a great friend of the show. And I'm hoping that he does have a great day, because I've seen he's got a battalion out at Newmarket on Saturday, plenty of runners, and he'll be hoping for some better luck. The yard's not in the best of form, but it's one of them. It can turn on a knife edge, and that's it.
Got your text, by the way, Lee.
Oh, it's come through.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, an interesting show, chaps. I mean, we've covered it off fairly well. I'd like to think we've got some good bets there. We've got a Claxon, which was unlikely this weekend, I felt. Neville, some fantastic thoughts on the Twig Hoppers, and I'm going to back 2 of yours that you've mentioned. So that's testament to your input into the show. John's, I'd probably back the Ripon horse of John's as well, for definite. So we're excited. We're excited for this weekend. Let's finish off with a bang this week. We did quite well last week, and we're going to build on that. We've got the sermon on Sunday to come, and then on Tuesday it's the York Ebo preview with me, John, Andy Richmond, and Quentin Franks. And to finish, just a special mention, because Nev has got his horse running at Market Racing on Saturday evening, and this horse happened to win last time out, and much to my profit as well. It's a horse called Goodbye, and it runs in the last race at Market Racing. So when you're all doing your bollocks, this could be it. This could be a lovely bet. And Nev, talk to me about Goodbye.
Well, we bought him at Ascot, was it? Anyway, it was Ascot's sale.
You were drunk.
And £6,000 out of Alan Jones's yard, and he came with one or two problems. It was mainly down to his back, and we had the vet look at him, and the vet was concerned. He thought he might have a kissing spine, but it turned out that he just had some like calcium spur bones that were just touching one another, and it just made him very sore. But we had that injected, and it turned him inside out, really. From being a very miserable horse, he's now just a miserable horse, which is
That's like me and John.
In all honesty, he's a lot better now, and it's been reflected in the way he's been jumping, because it's the first time he jumped for us at Market Rasen. He came second, and his jumping was pretty ordinary. He was very deliberate. He got better next time at Utoxeter when he came second, and last time he jumped really well when he won over the course and distance. He's handicapped on his form. He's got nothing to spare, according to the handicapper. He runs off 100, and I'd be disappointed if he wasn't in the first three. But I do think it's a competitive race. I'm saying that, though, he's in good form, and he's doing his best, like all mine do.
Yeah. So you're going there with big confidence, sir.
I'm going there I'm hopeful that it'll run well. Yeah. I also run one on Sunday at Seville in the last race there. Apparently it's Seville's big day of the year on Sunday. They're expecting a huge turnout. I think it might be Ladies' Day there. And we run a horse called Cold Henry, who came to us from David Ellsworth's yard. He showed nothing on his debut for that trainer. He showed precious little first time out for us at Pontefract, and then we ran him at Seville, and he finished 8th in a good maiden. The horse that finished, I think, 5th has come out and won yesterday, and he's been given a mark of 59. I really wanted 45, but the handicapper has been harsh. He's improved a lot. He's actually was very green when he first started, very childish, very babyish, and his work has improved unbelievably since then. And I would be hopeful that he will outrun his odds. I think ideally he wants 2 miles. He settles well, gives himself every chance of staying long distances. But Joanna Mason rode him last time, and she was surprised just how much ability he possessed. So I think he'll outrun his odds. I'm not going to say he'll win, but I think he'll outrun his odds, and he could be one to follow when we up him in trip.
Good stuff, Nev. Terrible from you there. I would stop him until I go him off 45, and then we'd all have the lot on, and we'd all eat healthy at Christmas. But no, you won't do that, because you are a genuine soul, unlike a lot of people in this game. But certainly the 8-10 race is interesting for Goodbye, because it means that if we're all doing our bollocks, we can have a 7 points place, 1 point win on Goodbye on the exchanges, and absolutely smash it all up in the 3 pegs. And even if you get 4 pegs, let's have 4 pegs as well, and just keep smashing it, because Goodbye, I think, will go very close on Saturday night. Neville, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
That's all from us. Bye for now.